What's up, everybody? How you doing? You can follow along on all Disruption Network social media platforms. We're back, baby. It's been a couple weeks, but we are back in the fold. Shout out to EJA Moving Services, the professional movers. When you're ready to move and relocate, hit up Eddie and his staff at 315-335-0516, EJAmoving.com. They'll pretty much move anything, anywhere, anytime. Tell them Uncle Z sent you, and that might get you a discount, or it might not. You never know. It might jack up the rate. Also, shout out to Joey's at 307 Mohawk Street. You want a good meal this week? Call today for reservations, 315-864-3527. Shout out to Utica Coffee, my attorney Dave Longaretta. Saranac Brewery, Under Too Long is a book by Billy the Liquor Guy. He's got a tremendous story out there about undercover agents and infiltrating bad people. If you go to Amazon.com or wherever you get your books, search Under Too Long for Billy the Liquor Guy. And also shout out to ballwash.com. Go to ballwash.com. Type in promo code members only for a 15% discount. And somebody who really loves his nut rub. And
I do.
Mr. Justin Smith.
I'm obsessed with it.
Me too.
I love it.
Have you really used it?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So you play a lot of gigs where it's warm, you're outside, you throw it on, and there's protection down there, right?
There is, yeah. It smells nice, you know. Yeah, I could go on, but
I just use cornstarch.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm telling you, throw out the cornstarch,
this
Keeler.
stuff works.
Throw it out. I'm telling you.
Because I got to tell you, the cornstarch gets out of your pants if you're wearing shorts. It's all over my seats, all over my chair. I get in the car, it's like a powdered film all over the place.
I got to set you up with some nut rub.
yes, you definitely need some nut rub.
Bill Keeler in the house with us today. How cool is this?
I can't believe it.
Bill, I've always looked up to you. You're like a mentor to me. I mean, we go back since the early 90s, and we've done some stuff together, and you've done some stuff with Justin, and just let me just say it's an honor to have you here again.
Absolutely.
Well, it's an honor to be here. I appreciate it greatly. Thanks, man.
I love when you come in and wreck the place.
Well, I don't know if I have the ability to do any wrecking these days, but who knows? You never know. Do you realize I'm at the same place? I'm going on my into my ninth year at the same place. I've never been anywhere longer than 5 years.
That's a record.
It is a record.
It is totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. For a while there, you're Billy Martin.
I was. There was a lot of that. There was a lot of
Yeah.
firing going on.
And higher end.
Yeah.
And back and forth.
Sometimes I get in a fist fight on second base, and these things would happen. So,
Yeah.
Have
What
you
are
ever
you
gotten
gonna
a
do?
fistcuffs in your radio career?
Do we have to talk about that?
You don't have to say anybody's name.
I don't know, Justin. Have I?
Am I allowed to say yes?
What are you going to do? That I remember? Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the vodka kicks in, and then maybe
that was a major mistake I think I made in my life was the day I thought that I would lose more weight if I drank straight vodka as opposed to putting anything in it.
I went through that too.
And it's a weight loss thing. They're like,
yeah.
That's how you do it. The problem is it gets you from point A to point Z very, very quickly.
Yeah.
You know?
And by point Z, he means point Z.
Yeah, because I'm always at fault.
Good point.
My friends blame me for everything. It was like, I was out with Z, honey, last night. Oh, all right. So then the wives all hate me. So.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we get the whole thing too. That we walk and we know a lot of bartenders. You know what I mean? So
all of them.
Right. So I stopped drinking beer. And I'm like, I'll just drink vodka, because, that way I can lose my stomach and everything would be great. No carbs, everything's great. So I did like vodka club soda. Well, the problem is I go order it from the bar, and they would pour a half a bottle of vodka in a pint glass and top it off with a squirt of, club soda and hand it to me.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm just drinking, having fun, socializing. And, I drink very fast. So, I mean, apparently 12 vodkas is a lot worse than 12 beers. Yeah.
It is.
So I had to put a kibosh on that.
Well, I haven't put the kibosh on it. I just try to moderate myself.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to do. So I've not had a single drink today, just for the record.
This is my first. I got one.
Utica Club, it's the way to go.
So when you hit the wall, it's over? Or do you just keep going through the wall?
My problem is that I reach a point where I do not know I'm hurling over the wall.
Once again, that's vodka.
As a matter of fact, I think I'm actually, in my mind, I hurdled the wall. I just, and I can't hurdle. I'm just not a hurdler.
You're not, no.
That's the problem.
You don't have,
and
you don't
my
have any
wife
ups.
always sees it. She's like, I can see it in your eyes.
Yep.
It's in your eyes. And I'm like, trust me, I've had 2.
Yeah. You're hurtling. Everybody else sees you hit the wall.
Yeah. Yep.
You're lucky you have her, though, right?
Yes.
She gets you off the wall, right?
She has often, I don't want to say often, many times.
Right.
But I think I've gotten better. I think I've gotten better over the years. So I should. I'm 56 years old, for God's sakes.
Man.
Still,
and still at it.
56. I still look at you like you're in your early 40s, like just because that's my fondest memories of.
Well,
being
I
on the Keeler
appreciate
show.
that, and I think I act. That's the problem. Is if you act old,
Sure.
then you will be old.
I agree.
And I don't see myself as someone that's in my 50s. I hate it.
No.
I hate the fact that I've lost my hair and all. You put on weight. I hate that.
Yep.
But it is, it is what it is. Every day it's another work in progress.
Yeah.
So
mentally, you're 22 still.
I'm afraid I am.
Yeah.
I am as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's such is life.
That keeps you going.
Yeah, of course. So let's talk about IBX a little bit. You've been at it 9 years.
Yeah, I'm in my 9th year.
Yeah.
I guess.
And so things are going well.
Yeah, 2011 is when I started, I think.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure. 2012, one or the other.
Yeah.
I'm not good with dates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I we're on TV every morning.
Mm-hmm.
For what it's worth, I mean, we on Fox, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's news talk, but it isn't always that way. Sometimes we have Justin in, and we still do my Christmas show every year, and in the beginning when I first went there, I think they felt like I was going to destroy the radio station, the legendary AM news talk station, and I don't think I have.
No, not yet.
Ratings are good, and I still exist.
Yeah. Did you always want to be in that political realm of talk show?
I think probably yes.
Yeah.
There was a point where I had said, maybe I just sold it to myself.
Yeah.
That this is where I need to be. I'm 50 years old or whatever I was. I should be doing this. I mean, doing these things that we used to do, bringing naked women into the studio and all those things that we used to do back then, it just doesn't fit me anymore.
Right.
Deep down, it really does. Right?
For sure. But you're a father now.
Yeah. It is embarrassing. And I think the change, too, is my daughter's 19. That's a big change.
Yeah.
You have the boys. I have 2 boys, and that's that. But when you have a daughter, it's different.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah. So less strippers in the studio for sure.
None. I mean, that's all gone. Those days are all. And listen.
Oh, but man, they were fun.
They were wild.
Oh, yeah.
I was there.
I think the human Christmas tree, the human buffet.
The human buffet
was an awesome one. I mean, we've had some wild times.
Absolutely.
But I'm okay with where I'm at now. I love where I shouldn't say that. I love what I do right now.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
It's it's easy. I just talk for 3 hours and move on to the next.
It's less work for you too, right?
I'm working probably now more than I've ever worked.
Really?
So yeah, because I do a lot of other things, a lot of TV stuff and commercials, and we're looking at a couple of TV shows that we're going to be launching. So you got to keep busy, otherwise you die.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's for sure.
So
that is. The other day was the anniversary of 9/11, and what are some of your memories of 9/11? Because I know you were on the radio. Where were you at the time?
I was at 107.
107?
Which is a station that no longer exists. It's a religious station now.
Mm-hmm.
But it was 50,000 watt, WRCK. Started out as a pop station, top 40, but then became classic rock. So on that day, it was me, Kay Howland, who's passed. Very sad.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And also Frank McBride was on the air with us. And Matt Barbuto. Frank has also passed away. Matt Barbuto works up at Fox. It was the 4 of us in studio. And there was a woman that called in at like 8:50. Keeping in mind, we had the TV on in the studio. And the woman called in, and we were talking about something risque that we had done on the air, and she was saying that probably shouldn't have been on the radio. You should have not put that on air. That just was too who knows what. And I remember I just posted this audio, and I'm like, apparently there's a news story out there that a plane has flown into the World Trade Center. And at the time, we just thought it was like a Cessna of some sort.
Sure.
But what that show was, because I was on it's a rock station, and we talked all morning, so we didn't really play music. But we just had the TV going. So I kept flipping the channels, and the audio's live on the air. We're feeding it through the board. And we're watching channel after channel. Let's switch over to Fox. Let's go to CNN. Let's go over the Today Show. And we just kept grabbing information and learning more and more. And then the second plane went in. And then, now we're all realizing this is
something really
terrorism.
bad. Yeah.
So we then just took calls, cancellations locally, played audio, got people who were down there, talked to Senator Griffo. Joe Griffo called in. We had a waitress that was down there from the Utica area, and we got her on, and her line went dead right after the first tower went down.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, it was traumatic. And we were on the air. I went on that morning at 6, but we were on the air until about 6 o'clock at night.
Oh, wow.
All day long.
The whole day.
Yeah. So they made us leave for like a half an hour because the program director thought it had been enough. Let's go back to music. Well, there was none of that.
No.
That day.
Yeah.
So I'm on my way home. Like, I can't believe they made us stop. I'm on my way home, and I got the phone call. Come back. We want you to keep going. So we went back, and we restarted. We lost a lot of momentum. Once you stop,
you try
to go back, your crowd's left the, and that's kind of what happened. But we were on the air till about 6 o'clock.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what I remember of that day. And it was traumatic. I never stopped to think about what was going on until I got home.
Yeah.
And that's when it hit. Like, holy, I can't believe we just witnessed this.
Right.
And interestingly, today, somebody 20 years old has no idea what we're talking about.
I was just saying that the other day,
Yeah.
But it was like watching college football the other day, and like none of these kids that are in the game even were alive during 9/11.
Right.
Yeah.
And my friend's daughter was asking me about it the other day. Like, where were you? Just asking me all these questions. I'm like, wow, I'm taking interviews on 9/11 now.
Yeah.
Just because these kids don't know and they need to be educated on it.
They absolutely do, yeah.
And that's why I think what Rob Esch and Jeff Stone and everybody at Babes and Aquavino did on Saturday.
Yeah.
If you guys want to talk about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, totally.
They just gave everybody no one was told in advance. You came in to Babes or to Aquavino, you ate your meal. When they brought up the check, they gave you a card that talked about the importance of 9/11. It explained everything and how you can never forget. And they said, and everything but the alcohol, we picked up your entire bill.
Wow.
Yeah, that was outstanding.
Amazing.
So for us, they paid only about $7.
The alcohol bill was like $300.
Yeah.
We still had a tough time getting out of there.
So, Bill,
That's not true.
how would you compare the 9/11 tragedy to the Corona coaster when that started up? Like the first day you were reporting the coronavirus?
I think that I had a tough time with all the language.
Yeah.
Like now hydroxychloroquine. We need these words just come off the tongue like they're old hat now. Think about it. Think about all those words. You did not know what those words even were.
Right.
Coronavirus. I did a parody about Corona beer, and I mean it was ridiculous. I remember we were at some restaurant eating. We were eating at the bar, and somebody called me and said, should I come home? They were out of town. Should I come home? Because I hear it's really bad up there. And I'm like, I think we're going to be fine. I don't think we're going to get hit that badly at all.
Right.
And then everything shut down.
Yeah.
That was also very traumatic,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I remember there was a point that you went from it's not coming here to holy shit. Like
We're
this
done.
is gonna kill us all. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, like, really, it was like, I remember feeling that, one day just waking up and going, wow, I'm really afraid for my family. You know what I mean? Like, this is bad. So
much uncertainty.
It was. Now, are you guys like? Because you have to figure out who you're talking to when you talk COVID. So, are we at the level where you know what we get it? Try not to get it. If I have to wear a mask, I wear a mask. Or are you walking into a grocery store and purposely coughing on a woman because she's wearing a mask?
No.
So where are we here?
Well, I'm vaccinated.
Yeah,
I'm vaccinated too.
Yeah.
I can't stand this argument over vaccines.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I cannot stand the argument over kids wearing masks.
Right.
I understand you have a child, so nobody wants to see your kid have to wear a mask, except at Halloween. It's kind of cute. But this whole thing that I love the tough guys that when their kid is playing Pop Warner football, the father's over top of him saying, "You can take the hit. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, this kid can't handle a mask through the day, and it's going to destroy his. I don't understand that.
I don't get it either.
I just wear the mask so you can be in class.
Yeah, now the Delta variant's directly affecting our children
after
now.
kids.
So it's
I know 4 cases right now, and in each of those cases, it came home from the kids, and the parents got it who are vaccinated.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, that's the other thing I don't get too is people are like, well, they told us that if we get the vaccine, then it's a cure-all. Then we're never going to get it. Nobody ever said that. It just said that you're not going to die if you get the vaccine. You're probably not going to die, and you're probably not going to need a ventilator in the hospital. You know what I mean? And that's really where we're at.
And it might happen if you have cancer, if you have
underlying
something going on.
But for the most part,
the other thing when you look at, I did a story the other day about this, because people are, who can you trust? There's no one you can trust. I don't know who to believe. Well, just trust the people who are kind of trustworthy, like science people, doctors.
Yeah.
Well, they're always getting it wrong. Are they really getting it wrong? Let's just look at the numbers in Oneida County. So MVHS, vaccinated versus unvaccinated, it's about 68% of the people that are in the hospital are not vaccinated. Mm-hmm. Those are exactly the numbers they gave us when they talked about the vaccine. Right. No one said you're not gonna get it.
Right, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, too many YouTube experts out there.
I know.
For sure.
That's what it is. Everybody's got a PhD in YouTube.
Yeah, I read this article the other day that was talking about how much social media has affected people's outlook on everything. You know what I mean? Like, you watch something on Facebook that pops up as an ad or something, and some interview that somebody was like, you know what? The sky is not blue. I know you've been seeing it since, for your whole life. It's blue. It's not blue. It's green. It's a green sky. And all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, I don't know what I can't think for myself anymore.
It does look green, doesn't it?
I think it does look green.
Yeah.
It's kind of got a bluish tint to it, but I think it might be green.
It's like that dress thing. Remember the dress thing? What color is that? I mean, it's your mind apparently can get you there.
Oh, sure.
And this is my show. You have to understand. I mean, for the last year, this is what I get somebody that calls up and they're upset about, they don't believe it, or they heard something else, and all of a sudden we're arguing about it. And I just think, just look at the logical stuff. Forget everything else. Just look at the logical stuff, and we'll get through this whole thing.
Yeah, this is something we've been talking about every day for 20 months.
I know.
Yeah. You cannot have a conversation without the virus or corona or the vaccine or any of that coming up whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's ruined a lot of shit.
Well, the biggest problem that I have, too, is that it's gotten so political that it's like now it's a Democratic-Republican thing, which I don't think it should be. It's a pandemic.
Get
it's
the
a virus,
politics
right
out of it.
There should be nothing to do with politics.
Right.
I mean, this guy isn't, this guy is in office. He's not going to help us get to where we need to be. But this guy is. But now this guy isn't, and it's both sides. It doesn't
How
make
we
any
got
sense.
this at this place with the vaccine, I don't understand. Because I guess when Trump was there were liberals that didn't want to take the vaccine, and now that Biden's there are conservatives that don't want to take the vaccine.
Right.
I don't know how we switch sides like this, because ultimately both have a role in getting the vaccine out and having the vaccine created.
And it's not like they took all the Trump germs out of the vaccine when he came out of office. You know what I mean? Like, they sucked them all back out and put the Biden germs in now.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Our politicians are nothing but kids in the schoolyard fighting with each other. That's all they are. It's ridiculous. And they're the ones leading this country. It's a shame. That's why we're the laughing stock of the world.
And I do think that part of the problem is, if we can look at the industry that I'm in, is that we are, like, if I wanted to go down the road and just start going with crazy theories, and going all the conspiracy stuff, and just started yelling out all this garbage, and they're lying to us, they're trying to kill us, They're putting chips in your shoulder, and and by the way, that shoulder ache, that pain you have, that is caused by the vaccine. That's what it's doing. If I played that card and that's what I did,
I still have a magnet on my infection site. Okay.
If I went down that road, that's ratings. If you write that, that's clicks. If you put that in newspapers, that's how newspapers are sold, and that's where we are now. That you're just playing to your audience because they're going to buy it. You don't really believe it. That's the problem. A lot of these guys that are big national guys, they don't believe it. They just are having fun
and
with it.
There's no news outlets and media outlets that are 100% truth anymore. I mean, how many of them have retracted stories that they've put out because, this is what I've read and I've done research, and then come to find out it's a conspiracy theory or whatever. You know what I mean?
Because everybody's rushing to get it out first.
Right, exactly. Like the clicks and the
Don
the ratings,
Henley.
like you were
Don
saying.
Henley, that's it.
Yes.
The bubble-headed bleach blonde.
Yeah.
I love the people that are like, I don't want to be microchipped as they're texting on their phone, or they're posting it on social media. Like, what do you think these days are?
They're the same people they can't stand the pop-ups that come up, so they just keep hitting the button. Fine, yes.
Or the guys that are smoking cigarettes, like, I ain't putting that shit in my body. It cracks me up.
It's the world we're in now.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they're gonna track me.
Yeah.
Yet I have a phone with me every second of the day.
Right.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Let's switch topics.
Yeah.
I knew we were kind of going to go down that rabbit hole with you because it's kind of hard not to go down that rabbit hole because we do have Bill Keeler with us.
It's what it's what we talk about. It was actually odd the last couple of days to be talking about 9/11 because we weren't talking about COVID.
Right.
It was kind of odd, and I find myself still having to talk about it every day because it's not going away.
Right.
There's all these news stories. We have a doctor that comes on. He was coming on every single day, Dr. Kent Hall from MVHS.
Right.
He was like our Dr. Fauci. And then we switched it to where he'd come on like once a week. Now we're back to 3 times a week again because we have so many questions.
Right. There's still questions, but I totally agree.
But I'm good not talking about it.
Before we went on here, you were talking about how you listened to your 9/11 show.
Yeah.
And what did you get from it? What have you learned since then?
I felt like I had a bit of a radio voice that I had a radio delivery, yeah. And I feel like this is just the way I talk.
Right.
More natural.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll never forget the time. And this is anybody remembers Brad Davies.
Of course, he's my mentor.
Brad's awesome, and I talk to Brad somewhat often. And
I love Brad.
I've never talked to him about this moment, but it was right around that time, and I had him on the phone one night, and we're going back and forth about something. He'd just moved maybe to Rochester or something, and all of a sudden he's like, Bill, this isn't the radio show. You're talking to me in your radio voice. Let me tell you something. That was a smack in the face. Like, number one, I can't even believe he freaking said that to me. Like, just deal with it, right? Talk about me after you hang up, like everybody else. But
you're not used to this.
Yeah, that's what I do to people.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, but he was absolutely right, and you find yourself getting into that. You got to turn it off.
You do.
So that I didn't like in listening to it, but I feel like. It was just such a traumatic day. It was tough to listen to. So.
Yeah.
I listened for a little while.
Did you play some of the sound bites on your current show?
I did. I played a little bit. Yeah. And then I got sick of it, and I'm like, listen, I'm just going to post it on the web. If you want to listen to it, it's up there.
Right.
It's up on YouTube.
Yeah.
So.
Right on. We had the show is Local Music Monday. And so what we do is we like to feature a lot of the local artists.
I like it.
Because we're so loaded with talent here in the 315.
We are.
Besides Showtime, who are some of the bands that you frequent?
Well, I'm a big.
Notice I put besides Showtime.
And listen, I have to say that I find like I get people that may be slighted because I have such a relationship with Showtime. But let's go through the history. Mm-hmm. First of all, Showtime was born out of the Trading Post in Ilion, where I used to get all of my used clothing. And that you know about. Yeah. That's kind of an inside thing. But where Justin grew up the back garage used to be like a thrift store.
Yeah.
And in the valley, it's where everybody would go. That's where everybody got their ice skates.
Yeah.
So anyway, but to talk personally. Justin was on my show when you were how old? 11 years old. Mm-hmm. This young group of kids, and keeping in mind, I'm on K-Rock on those days, and OUR was the legendary station that had always been the rock station.
Right.
And Z, you know, because we worked together at K-Rock. Mm-hmm. And everybody, like I had finally gotten to the point where we're pulling numbers. We're number one in the market. And I would go to get somebody to come on the air, and I'm sorry, I can't do it. I told Jerry I'd only be exclusive to OUR. So no one would come on.
You got a lot of that?
A lot of it.
Yeah.
No one would come on.
Really?
So so then along comes these young guys who had no idea about any of that. And they were really good. Their harmony was just incredible. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I'm doing like I do everything else at the time, and everything's a bit. So we're getting married. Let's turn it into a bit. And we had this huge event at the Stanley, and Showtime, these young kids, played at our wedding with 450 people.
Yeah. It was awesome.
So I think that since then, they played my kids' graduation parties. They played our parties. When I ask for help, you guys have always been there.
Always, yeah.
No matter what it is, and oftentimes playing for free for an event that's a charity event or something like that. Anyway, so that's my loyalty to the band, and I just so happen to love them. Mm-hmm. And my wife loves them. Like when you guys play out at the Turning Stone or wherever, at your place, we're always there. We go there. So, but there are a lot of now, as time has gone on, I think I've made my name in the market. All those artists that couldn't come on before come on now. And so I don't want to mention, I'm just going to mention some of the legends just because there are so many out there. But I love John Liebing.
Of course.
John is, again, another example of
incredible talent,
of just unbelievable talent. And have you ever sat down for a few minutes and talked to Greeley Ford?
Oh, yeah.
About his days with Todd Hoban and
Mr. Ed,
the places they went, the playing with the opening for the Beach Boys.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, his stories are incredible, and he's and oh, by the way, an awesome bass player.
Incredible.
Yeah, and just those are just a few that I don't want to mention everybody. I mean, Gridley Page, of course.
Never heard of him.
You know, I'm just saying. You know,
he's our unofficial local music Monday sponsor.
He's chiming in today.
Oh yeah,
well,
he's watching.
And listen, I got to tell you something. Look what they've done.
I know.
And at their peak, and we just debuted a new song that he had out, and it's a really good song.
Yeah, he worked. They all worked so hard with us. They really did. I followed him through the whole thing.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about it, and that's another thing that we always talk about on Local Music Monday too, is the fact that all of us like kind of get along with each other. You know, like we try to help each other out and you know, in any way that we can. We all guest on each other's albums and like do different things that we're all working together like as one tight knit kind of family, which is great. You know.
Well, it's the way it should be, right? It's
exactly.
The way.
But it wasn't like that when you first started out on radio.
No,
never.
No, there were.
No.
Rivalries.
But when you look at the Beatles and the Stones and Dylan and you know all Eric Clapton and all of those guys, but they were all sleeping with each other's wives and on each other's albums.
Yep.
So,
that story about the story about George Harrison coming to Eric Clapton's house when he just moved in with Patty Boyd.
Yeah.
Knocking on the door. Did you hear the story? He knocked on the door.
He wanted him to record something in the way she moves?
No, While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Right,
He goes, hey, can you come down? He thought he was going to punch him in the face when he opened the door, and he's like, I need you to record a solo for me.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And not that, you know, everybody's sleeping with everybody here, but the fact that you guys are all working together, I think is tremendous.
Yeah.
And I mean, because we have a history of so many great artists. And mine are a little newer. I am a little younger, even though maybe people don't think so. But, you know, there were incredible bands back in those days of the OUR albums. And, you know, all of that stuff. And Greeley played in a lot of that. But we're just very lucky with great talent in the area. So.
Yeah. And shout out to Tim Moyer. I feel like Tim Moyer is like the glue to the whole local music scene. You know, he helps everybody out.
A lot of people don't like. It's funny. I was talking to somebody the other day. I found myself, and he'll laugh about this because I found myself sticking up for him a lot because when he was growing up in the music business, really, I mean, because he's much older than all of us. Okay, let's just be real here.
Older than Bill.
Yeah, just
Is
about.
he really?
No, but he's getting there. Anyway,
I can't imagine that.
Well, when he was coming up and stuff, like he had this, you know, he wanted to portray himself as a lead singer in a rock and roll band, like a rock star. I mean, that he lived that part. You know what I mean? And but it's funny because if you're one of the few people that actually gets a chance to know him behind all that, you realize how much he's actually doing for everybody around here. You know,
I don't think a lot of people know this, but he actually wrote "Soul Sister." You know that song, "Hey, Soul Sister."
Oh wait, no, Bill, you're thinking of the guy for Train, not the same guy.
I'm sorry.
Not the same
I'm
guy.
sorry.
That's Pat Moynihan.
You know that happens to him all the time, Bill.
Can I tell you though? There is a major resemblance.
Oh yeah.
Well, until his brother Jeff starts posting pictures of Katie Lang, and then he realizes he looks like her too.
That's funny. Listen,
Love you, Tim.
First time they came on my Christmas show, I was at 107, and they did an incredible version of John Lennon's "Happy Christmas."
Oh yeah.
And the Eagles' "Please Come Home for Christmas." They did 2 songs. Awesome, great artists, great contributions to music in this area.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Most definitely.
Bill, what are some of the favorite concerts you've ever seen in the area?
Here,
Some memorable ones.
Well, my first was the Cars.
Really?
It was in 1977.
You're so lucky.
And it was, I don't know, I still have the poster and the ticket.
Is that at the Odd?
It was at the Odd. Yep. It's the first time I ever turned down pot. And I wasn't into anything at all. And everybody that I was with was, and including my girlfriend, who after that night, after I turned it down, wasn't my girlfriend anymore. That was the end of that. But that was a great show. You know, who's the one that did, who did, remember he had he had the girls dancing in the background,
Oh, Robert Palmer?
Robert Palmer played the auditorium.
Oh, God, what a voice.
Nobody bought tickets for that show. We bought tickets day of. I got front row. It was so bad they curtained off the Odd. They curtained off a good portion of the auditorium.
Oh, that's horrible. What
it was so sad, and that was such a great show. I got to see Sinatra, but that was in Syracuse. That was really cool. He couldn't remember any of the words, and he would yell at his kid over it. So the Frank Jr. was the conductor.
Yeah,
and like, Frank, what are you talking about? He was keep yelling at him, and he's just going along because he was starting to get pretty bad. He couldn't remember the words.
God.
He screwed up Mac the Knife and some other, but it was still legendary. It was still awesome.
Oh, sure, yeah, it's still Frank.
And some great shows at the Stanley that I'm thinking about. We've had some great artists here.
Yeah, we have.
I'm sure you've introduced a bunch of bands too back in the day.
I haven't.
No?
No.
Really?
There was an exclusivity around that. So.
Gotcha.
We don't want that Keeler guy on stage? Or
Probably,
was it on
I
you?
did a couple.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have not done many at all.
Yeah,
I did do Joan Jett. The story of Joan Jett, where we were told, don't look at her
Oh, God,
in
that
the
thing.
eye. Don't look at her. Don't make eye contact with Joan.
I hate when they do that.
So this was out at Vernon Downs. So I'm at K-Rock at the peak of my I'll do whatever I want in my career moment. And I went out and I'm like, all right, everybody, don't make eye contact with Joan Jett.
Oh, my God.
Did she catch wind of that?
She didn't, because she still did the show. Because otherwise, I was.
I can't imagine she would have came out.
I think about that today. Like,
Oh, God,
what if she
it's
canceled?
beautiful.
It would have been my fault.
Yeah, it would have.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But I did introduce that act.
He introduced Showtime at the 20th anniversary show.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
At the Turning Stone?
Yep.
Yeah. They
That was a
revamped
great
all
show.
that too, didn't
They
they?
did. They changed the whole showroom. Did you see that?
They've gotten rid of the tables, right?
Oh yeah, and it's like literally theater
All
seating
seating.
all the way up. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And it looks like they moved the sound booth too. Because remember, it used to be kind of offset over here. It's like right in the center now.
Now, did they get the velvet chairs?
I think some of them are.
Okay, because I'm not going to be happy if they didn't, because I paid for a lot of those chairs.
Right.
Over the bar?
Indirectly. Yes.
Indirectly.
Yeah.
At the table.
At the table, yeah.
At the table.
My wife has too, let me tell you.
It is what it is.
Yeah, no doubt. Doubt. There's been some memorable shows, though, that's for sure, in this area. We've been lucky.
Yeah.
We've been lucky. And coming up, Dallas Cooper, you going Alice Cooper by any chance?
I am not. No? I'm not a big Alice Cooper fan.
No?
But I think it's awesome that he's coming here.
Yeah, I do too.
Scott Flansburgh, the human calculator, is like good friends with him. They play golf, and that's what I know.
Yeah. Interesting. It's going to be a good show. It's a good way to get the Stanley back going up again.
Oh, it sure is.
We need it over there.
I think it's, how do you survive? You're still over there, right?
Oh, yeah.
How do you survive when there's nothing going on?
Nothing. You don't.
It's terrible.
I think that we have had a couple of presidents now who are slowly trying to bring the music back into like the better acts into the Stanley, if you know what I mean. Like I mean you're always going to have the off Broadway come in, which they do a phenomenal job and bring in a ton of people, but there needs to be acts that people in Central New York are going to come watch. You know what I mean? You have to read your demographic of people and what they want to hear. I mean, you can't go and throw in Gary and the Pacemakers and expect it to be a sold-out show.
Not today.
Not today, at least.
There may have been a day. There may have been the day.
Right, but I mean, but that's what, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's probably a bad example, but there's been some times that they've had some not so good acts in there, shaking their heads and gone, why? I don't understand, why there's not anybody coming. This is a legend, but maybe it's not what people want to listen to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
a couple others that are coming to mind. I hate questions. Normally I ask, and I don't have to remember anything.
Yeah.
But when you ask, I'm trying to remember. Johnny Cash, awesome show at the Stanley.
Wow.
Dylan several times at the Stanley. And there are, B.B. King.
Wow.
Like, just incredible at the Stanley Theater.
Yeah.
So it's those shows that will draw.
Yeah.
But when you bring in a smaller act, the problem with the smaller acts is they don't draw. And when you book them, you're like, I know everyone's going to come out and see Maxine Nightingale. It's going to be so cool because she used to be so big. But guess what? 50 people show up to see that show.
Right.
That's right.
So it is important to get the big acts in.
Were you at the show, the Dylan show, but I want to say it was the early 90s when they couldn't find him? Did you know this story?
No.
So Dylan missed his sound check, and nobody knows in his crew, nobody knows where the hell this guy is. And they were combing the city of Utica looking for this guy. You know where he was? He was at Griffin's. Sitting at the bar with Mikey Griffin. Mikey Griffin didn't even know it was Bob Dylan. He thought it was a homeless guy off the street.
Oh
I've heard stories like that.
He thought it was a homeless guy off the street.
Yeah.
He sat there and kept on giving him shots of Jack Daniels. Didn't say 2 words to him. Just let him keep drinking. Like 5 minutes before he's supposed to hit the stage, they find him at Griffin's and literally carried him and put him on stage. Like, what are you doing, dude?
I may have been. I've probably seen him 4 or 5 times here, and the last time he was here, he went down to is it Character Coffee? What's the one down?
Yep.
That little coffee shop. He went down there, and no one
recognized him.
No one knew who he was.
Yeah,
that's probably good for him, though.
We talked about that with Joe.
He could barely stand on that stage, and I don't think it had anything to do with alcohol. I mean, he's
80 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it. I mean, he's a lot younger, but I mean, an artist that came from this area, Joe Bonamassa, he could walk down the street right now, and we would, but the normal everyday Utican could drive past him and not even know who it was walking down the street.
Joe Bonamassa played in studio.
Yeah,
I had him in studio.
Yep.
Once, and it's unbelievable. And he's been kind of dissed around here.
Yeah, you're going to trigger me. This triggers me.
All right. Where do you stand on this? Because I'm really bothered by it.
The guy should have a freaking street or a statue.
We should have a statue.
There should be a statue on Barrett Street of Joe Bonamassa or something. Yeah. There should be a street named after this guy.
I agree.
And, for some reason, that's that Utica mentality, and I love you people of Utica, but you guys are negative, especially when somebody's doing better than you.
Who does he think he is?
Right, who does he?
Right.
He sucked. Come on.
I felt so bad. Mark Bullis is another great artist and another great guy who's done many
he's incredible.
Unbelievable things for artists in the area. And, I remember as a kid always thinking about Big Apple. It's like, this big... this big music store, and they're taking advantage of all these kids, and just the exact opposite.
Oh my God,
when you hear somebody say that, you got to stop them, because Mark is one of the most decent human beings you will ever meet in your life.
100%.
He's done so much for people.
Yep.
He brings in Joe Bonamassa, and 20 people show up. Are you kidding me? The guy's good. You're one-on-one with him.
He's a blues legend. I mean, like, he is an absolute, worldwide blues legend.
Anywhere else in the world, he fills stadiums.
Yep.
He fills
sold out Royal Albert Hall 2 days in a row. Probably could have done it the third day if he wanted to.
And here we just don't. And I don't blame him for probably being upset about that.
For sure.
Yeah, and that was the other thing, too, and he wasn't getting any radio play, too. He was upset about that. And, why aren't we supporting this guy?
I kept playing his stuff, and apparently he didn't want, a talk show playing it. He wanted the rock station.
He wanted the rock station.
Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, that's, geez, you're trying here.
A play
right?
is a play. That's what once you play it. Unbelievable talent, and... yeah, I don't understand.
I don't either.
Yeah.
It drives me absolutely batty. But there should be a weekend dedicated to him.
Yeah.
It baffles me. But and hopefully maybe one day we'll get him at the Stanley and do a show there.
There are all these legendary stories that during negotiations where it's kind of gone bad and stuff. I don't know how much is true or what is or what isn't true.
It just seems like something bad happens every time he comes near this area, and it's weird. Like when he was in Syracuse, and that asshole that wrote the article that said he was mean to his band or whatever. That it was so wrong that his band actually went online and defended him, and quoted the article and said this never happened, and basically just and here we are. It's Syracuse, New York. Can't get any closer to Utica, really. I mean, as far as on the nationwide aspect. He's in Syracuse, doesn't sell out the show, gets treated like shit, and you wonder why he doesn't come back,
And it was 06 or 07, he played at the brewery, and 500-600 people showed up. There should have been thousands of people at that show.
Should have been thousands.
But it's the same 500 or 600 people like us that really, really, enjoy it, and it sucks because, I saw him in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. I had to go see him sold out at a theater in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. I'm like, it's a shame.
Were you a groupie? Did you try to get his attention? Did he know you were there?
No, I didn't. I didn't do that. I was in the front row, but I was off to the side. You know where he's going with this, don't you?
You're a fanboy.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm a fanboy.
Yeah.
Well, I can't help it. I'm a guitar player. I mean, what guitar player in the right mind wouldn't be a fanboy?
If you're going to be a fan of anybody, make it him.
But I did discover one thing at that show though that is incredible of an electric guitar player as he is. He's I would say almost even better on the acoustic guitar.
Really?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff that he did with Beth Hart was fantastic. And then Black Country Communion, and
that was totally.
I praised the kid.
Yeah, Black Country Communion was totally to shut up all of the rock critics to him, because they all were like, oh, he's pigeonholed himself as a blues artist. He can't play rock. He can't play anything else. And he's like, yeah, watch this.
Mm-hmm. It's almost as if he's just played whatever he wants to play. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty cool place to be. Now he may not reach the status of big pop star, and he'll never be that.
No.
But the reality is, my guess is he's doing really well.
Yeah.
And he's doing what he wants. Period.
Exactly.
That seems to be more valuable to me than anything else in the world.
He's at the point of his career where he can write his own ticket.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And do whatever. I mean, he can do whatever he wants.
And somehow that doesn't end back up in Utica.
Somehow. I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Why do you think that is?
Dick Clark, I had Dick Clark started his career here. He worked at KTV. Mm-hmm. He worked on WRUN. I could never get him here. I mean, we get guests. We've always been, we always have gotten big names on the radio. Mm-hmm. Always. Somehow we've been able to work it out. And if we couldn't get them willingly, we got their phone number and we called them at home without them expecting it. So
you were a master of that.
Oh God, I love those. I almost was like I had my finger ready to change the station because it felt awkward on my end. I'm like, oh God.
When you at the point where you said to them, by the way, we're on the air live right now, and all of a sudden everything changes. But I've completely forgotten where I was going.
Dick Clark.
Dick Clark. Yeah. So Dick Clark Could never get him on the air. Could never get his phone number either. I don't know why, but we couldn't get it. So now I'm working in Providence. So you're talking Providence, which is a top 40 market, and completely different world. Like I had our staff was like 12 people working in Providence.
Wow.
Artists coming through every day. We had Patriots players in all the time. It was a different world. If you wanted something, the record company would find a way to get it without there being any record of you getting it. I didn't take ever advantage of that for the most part. My PD there in Providence went to prison for like playing records for pay. Payola, plugola, all that stuff.
Right, yeah.
And he ended up going to prison for it.
Wow.
After I left. So I'll tell you this. Let me get the Dick Clark story out of the way. You can tell I'm attention deficit. That's why my show moves. I can keep it moving because I forget what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Just move on to the next thing.
It's a sign of old age.
Dick Clark. Could never get him in Providence. Bingo.
You got Dick Clark.
Request. I've got Dick Clark before New Year's Eve. We have him on the air. So I brought up Utica. He asked not to talk about Utica. We wanted to talk about it. I don't know what it is. Maybe it doesn't look good on their career. I don't know. But back to my boss over there. I swear to God, I moved out there and I was having difficulty. Rent was high, and I wasn't making the money. I was actually making more money in Utica than when I went to Providence because I have a name in Utica. Going to Providence, I had to build my way up.
Sure.
So I was making less money. So I needed money for a new apartment and stuff. So I'm going to talk to so and so, the record promoter. I'll get you $3,000. But you got to pay him back. So I'm going to want.
Oh boy.
I want $250. You're going to pay $250 every payday, and you'll pay me. I'll pay him. Perfect. So I work in Providence for about 3 years. Things go well. I decide to come back here. Family reasons. I'm coming home. We have a going away party at my apartment in downtown Providence, and I'm like, I wanted this record rep. He's a good guy. He gave me money. I want him to show up. So I called him and I said, hey, Friday night, it's a little going away party. I'd like you to be there. And he's like, I can't believe you have the nerve to call me. I'm like, what do you mean? Now I'm wondering why I didn't get that gig in Boston.
Yeah, right.
So what do you mean? He said, I lent you $3,000 and you never paid me back. Now I paid $3,000 to my program director. He never paid the record rep.
Wow.
That was my PD out there. So
wow.
Can you freaking believe that story?
Shady shit.
Yeah. And I should have been like, I didn't even tell him. I felt bad for I liked my PD. I didn't know he was such a crook.
Wow.
So,
how much time did he do?
He was in jail for prison for like 2 or 3 years, and then I saw he was out, and he started up some record a promotional magazine. He was doing something at a time where magazines were kind of tanking anyway, and then he just died. He probably died about 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh. I spent a great weekend in Providence with you guys. We went to see the Patriots and the Saints.
That's right.
You were up with Brad and Curly, who also has passed away. But I'll never forget that weekend because there was some memorable moments for me that weekend.
That was a fun town.
Oh my God!
Providence is a
I've never been anywhere in Rhode Island.
Town. And Rhode Island was nice just because. I'd get off the air at 10 o'clock and be like, all right, we're going to the ocean. So you'd be out on Newport Beach or something, and you're just a quick drive away. But great Italian food, great place, and a lot of places to party.
Who has better pizza, Utica or Providence?
There's a place in Providence called Caserta's Pizza, which was really good. But I feel like Utica's pizza is second to nobody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Although I just heard a guy in from Albany just recently who said, this pizza around here is not very good. I don't like
Albany's got the worst pizza.
Terrible.
The worst pizza.
My son's in Denver. You can't find pizza in Denver. There's a couple places. We are so lucky to have all of what we have here.
It's that's the type of guy though that you want to like call up on the phone and be like, listen, you obviously went to the wrong place, so come on with me. I'm going to take you on a pizza tour. Yeah. Like my thing is that David Portnoy, that El Presidente, whatever, the guy that does the pizza, whatever.
Barstool.
Why hasn't he come to Utica?
Yeah.
It's like the pizza capital of the United States. There's no better pizza anywhere.
I've sent him messages
in the country.
On top of messages. I gave up, actually.
And we're the only ones that
he went to Saratoga, but he never came to Utica.
We're the only ones that take tomato pie to the level. I think Philly maybe does a little bit, but we take tomato pie to a level of. It's in every convenience store. It's everywhere you go. It's at every party that you go to.
Yeah.
And our pizza, every place you go to is like a different meal.
Yeah.
You have the thicker crust, and you have the New York style. We have some incredible New York style pizzerias. Some of the best New York style pizza is located out in the middle of nowhere. Like West Winfield has a really good New York style pizza.
Waterville too.
Waterville.
Uh-huh.
I mean, where's John's Mobile Homes? This place is, whatever that town is over there. It has an incredible pizzeria.
Yeah.
We're really lucky in this area.
Well, and it's funny, too, because we've had Brian from Portello's on here before. And Frank, have you had their pizza?
Theirs is really good.
Well, their regular pizza is very good, but they also make, you remember Thurston's back in the day, right? So they do make a Thurston-style pan pizza, and they have the recipe and everything. And to me, it's the closest that I've had.
It's hard to hit exact.
Yeah, they'll never hit it
because the ovens aren't the same.
But yeah, I've heard that if you ask for it extra crispy and to burn to crisp the top, they'll leave it in a little bit longer, and that's the closest that you get because it still tastes. The sauce is still the same, you know. But if you leave it in a little bit longer, it crisps up the bottom a little bit more.
Slice is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, we are, and of course, Oskin Eats is
top dog.
Have
you ever
Charlie's?
been to,
I feel like I'm not mentioning places.
Yeah.
So.
Have you been to New Haven, Connecticut?
I heard that New Haven. I had somebody call up on the air the other day when this story came out that what is New Haven number one or number
they're
two?
like, and that's where Barstool. He gave them all 9s, all the places he visited.
I had somebody call in and say, "I'm a Utica guy. I love our pizza." But you've not had pizza till you've been to New Haven.
That's what I hear, too.
Okay, I want to go right now. Let's go.
Yeah,
I think
let's get in the car and go. We should do a show out there for the sole purpose of trying their pizza.
Yeah.
And it should be a weekend. So after we try the pizza, we can do everything else. There's got to be something to do.
I'm in.
I like it.
What are you doing next week?
Let's do it.
Yeah, right?
I think that's a great idea. Do the comparison because a lot of people tell me how great New Haven, Connecticut pizza is.
It would be a good show.
We have video crews, so we can just have them follow us.
You're right.
Even more people to hang out with after we try the pizza.
I like it.
Yeah. Mario's in Oriskany Falls?
Mario's in Oriskany Falls. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
John's Mobile Homes.
Thanks,
Yep.
Thanks, everybody that's watching us on Facebook. If you could do us a favor and click the share button and help spread the word of Local Music Monday. And our guest today, Mr. Bill Keeler. So good to have you here, buddy.
I'm really, I'm glad you asked.
Well, Justin asked.
I'm glad you asked. Justin asked, and then Z's like, I just had him a couple years ago. I mean,
no. If you could come here every day, I would love that.
Well, I think my wife would like that too. Yeah. Get me out.
Probably your current employer would like that too. Like, get him out of here.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of the job that I have now. Is my deal was I work from 6 till 9. And then I have other work that I do, and I have to be able to do it.
Right.
All my TV stuff, and so that's what I do.
Yeah.
I leave at 9 o'clock every day. Sometimes I'm out before the news starts at 9. I've been doing this a long time. Give me a little slack.
You can write your own ticket, for sure.
Well, I think they're good to me, and I'm really lucky at this point.
If you could go back to Bill Keeler and say the K-Rock days and give him some advice, what would you tell yourself?
There was a time when we first started where I think the show was really horrible. It was more of a train wreck thing because it was the first time where we were just told, "You guys are amazing," and then you believe it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's where the problem comes in. Like I feel like I'm good at what I do. I know there are a lot of people that think I'm horrible, I'm sure, and hate me even if they don't think I'm horrible. But I'm still tough on myself. There came a point then where I was just awesome, and no one could touch us.
Right. Yeah.
And you begin to believe it. It's like I remember driving down the road, and we decided we're going to do the show on a cell phone because there are now cell phones. Because, until the 80s and 90s, you never even think about doing anything on a cell phone. So I'm driving down the road, and the contest was what CD do I have in the CD player? Like, anybody cares what I'm listening, what my playlist is. But in my head, that was and I think we were at our worst right there. And somewhere along but we also were innovative. We did things that nobody ever did.
Fact.
I'm telling you, you see stuff that was on Jackass, I will tell you we did it before they did it.
Yep.
And someday I'm going to write a book about all the things that we did that came first here that were probably just stupid and horrible, but it was great, great radio.
Oh, for sure.
And
because that's what mattered then, though. You know what I mean?
You cannot do it today. Nobody's doing it today.
Any of that today.
No.
Why do you think that is? It's just because it's already been done, or just the restrictions are a little tighter?
It's been 20 years, and 9/11 killed great morning radio.
Good point.
And that's when it happened. I was fired shortly thereafter. Everything became different. The rules became different. I couldn't tie a guy 20 feet in the air to a telephone pole. Why? Why can't I do that? Right?
Right.
We used to do it every day.
People are so damn sensitive nowadays.
Yeah. In Providence, I took the bit to Providence. So it was called the Human Billboard. They would never advertise my show. So I'm like, screw it. We're going to get duct tape. I'll tape a guy every day. And we had a guy that was his job every day. He was the Human Billboard. Fred. He still is around here somewhere in Utica. But I found Fred in Providence. And he came back here, and now we're all taking care of him as taxpayers. So
I remember Fred. Can I interject for 1 second? I remember Fred, and I can't remember what we were doing, but you sent me with him one day. It was like because I used to come every once in a while. I would come and hang out with you guys.
Yes.
He's like, Justin, you want to go with Fred? I'm like, okay. And everywhere we went, he had to stop at all the ashtrays so that he could pick the butts that were a little bit longer and finish the cigarette. He
had a collection of
the little butts, in his pocket that he would take. So whenever he needed to drag up a cigarette, he'd pull one out and have like a drag or two left, and he'd light it. And I just remember, like, the look on my face if I was being videoed at that point was probably like,
it was
it was permanent. I couldn't even deal with it. But anyway,
Fred, if he's out there listening, we love Fred. He'll tell you Jackass stole the bit from him.
Oh yeah,
whatever. But in Providence, I had this a-hole boss that knew everything, and we were giving away Patriots tickets when the Patriots first went to the Super Bowl, back before they were. I think it was even before Bledsoe. I think was the quarterback. And we're downtown, and what are you willing to do for a pair of tickets? And the woman said, I will be the Human Billboard. Well, at this time, it was raining out. We're right outside of the Providence Civic Center. It's pouring and sleet and freezing rain, and then it was cold. But so the GM is like, I'm my road guy. We had a guy that just went out on the road.
Yeah.
And the GM is like, he's not here today, so I'm doing it. And I looked out, and they're putting this woman up. She said, I'll be the Human Billboard. We put her up. You get a ladder. She'd climb up. We'd go behind. We'd duct tape around her. But they're doing it on a metal pole, not a wooden pole. The wood, you'd get a sliver before you slid all the way down that thing.
Yeah.
Metal pole. And I said to the GM, do not take the ladder away because I don't trust it. He takes the ladder away. She falls to the ground and breaks her back.
Oh my God.
Yeah. 2 weeks before I came home. I came back here after that. Yeah. She sued the daylights out of that station.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But she got the tickets.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
She won. In more ways than one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You've had some cast of characters that have been on your show throughout the years.
We have.
The Zoo Crew, or how the Morning Wacky
It was
Zoo Crew. And you were Morning Wacky Zoo before that was even a thing.
We were, I used to like Z100 in New York, and they had the Morning Zoo, and we were the Morning Crew, which was given to me when I first went there in 1989. And I'd be like, all right, you'll be the Morning Crew. And I wanted to use my name. And now you know why they don't want me to use my name, because if you're the Morning Crew, you just keep switching people out. Right? So the minute they don't want me there anymore, they'll put somebody else in. Anyway, I became a little bigger than that, luckily, but we had many, many characters, and the show always kind of tweaks and changes as time goes on. And some really great. Kid Chris is one of the greatest talents that has
You
come
still
out of
talk with him on the radio sometimes, right? You get him on.
Chris and I talk all the time.
Yep.
Because Chris lived with me. Chris was an intern. By the way, he's worked in Atlanta. He's worked in Philadelphia. He's currently in Cincinnati, and is one of the great talents. You'll hear a lot of his bits on Stern. Often.
Oh yeah,
all the time.
And Chris did the OJ bit. Chris is relentless. Chris, once he got OJ's phone number, he spent a month calling him.
Yep.
Not just once, but over and over, different phones on different lines, numbers popping up. Sometimes it's restricted. He's recording it every time. Created this montage that might be the funniest montage.
It is. It's hysterical.
I don't think I've ever heard it.
But Chris and I would just sit in my apartment in Herkimer. He lived with me for a while. And we just sit in my apartment in Herkimer and just do bits all day long. That's what we did. And we got some really awesome stuff out of all that. In fact, I've got all of it on reel to reel, and he has me shipping everything out to him coming up in the next few weeks. We're going to put everything, digitize everything, and which needs to be done.
Yeah.
Right.
But Chris is a great talent. Brad, great talent. Brad went on to do huge things. Could be working in Houston right now doing sports, but is doing so much better selling real estate. He's living the life right now.
That's great.
So
I like to think of a radio show in like bands, like along the same lines, because like you said, small little tweaks. You take some members away, you bring some members in, and the concept of the show is the same, but
it's a little different.
But it's just a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I think
it's the same thing.
It's awesome to watch, though, like throughout the years, how you never noticed when it was a hard transition. You always made it like it was a smoother, like you never knew if there was, this guy got fired or I got in a really big fight with him and he disappeared. Like unless you wanted to talk about it, you didn't let that, take over the show. The show was more important than anything. So you just
and it's been that way since probably 1992 for me. And even when I went to Providence, I brought some people from here, and then when I came back from Providence, I brought some people from there, and it just kept morphing. And the key to it is, and I'm sure you have to feel, although your people are always really talented. Like when you get somebody, I mean, what you guys did for us at my daughter's graduation party this summer was awesome. But I mean, they get great members in the band.
It's got Ryan Quinn in the band.
Incredible talent. Yeah. So. I sometimes, radio never pays. So sometimes I got somebody working and they're getting CDs for working.
Right.
So the key to success, in my opinion, is you do not take the person and turn them into what you want to be. You modify the show around the person. That changes everything. We have Real Men Get Tested after I had cancer, and Tim Reed had cancer as well. We had this great idea, Tim and I, about wouldn't it be awesome to get Boeheim in a commercial? So when we wrote the commercial, we didn't write the commercial for Boeheim to be something different than he is. I saw Blue Chips, if you ever saw that movie. He's not an actor at all. Don't put him in that position. But write it so that he can be snarly and snarky, just like he is. And in that spot, if you ever saw the commercial, he's kind of yelling at me about, you don't know anything about basketball, shut up. I've seen him say that to like an AP reporter.
Yeah, exactly.
So
definitely, yeah.
It was written for him.
How cool was that, though? You're like, Jim Boeheim's yelling at me right now. This is incredible.
It was awesome. We did that. We never were in the same room because it was during COVID.
Oh, wow.
So Boeheim's piece, they taped.
Yeah.
Tim did his, I did mine, and then I put them all together. And Wednesday we'll be in Syracuse. We won a New York State Broadcasters Excellence Award for that commercial. So
awesome.
Cool.
Pretty
Congrats.
cool.
That's so awesome.
So it's not the biggest deal in the world, but
it's still great, though.
It's cool. That's a good spot. That spot changed people. It made people go and get tested. I hope to think we've saved some lives out of that.
Definitely.
Spot,
so. Absolutely.
Anyway.
How are you fueled by the negative comments or some of the hatred that's thrown at you?
I am, because the positive comments, although they mean a lot to you, aren't entertaining. How you want to sit and listen to somebody, oh, you're so great, I love you. Rush Limbaugh probably found a way to make that work, right?
Right.
Sure.
But the reality is, a show is good when someone is telling you how stupid you are. That's why you sit in your car before you go into work and want to hear the rest of it.
Yeah.
Not because somebody's complimenting you.
Right.
I hate the compliments. In fact, when they screen the calls, the compliments are done privately. Get that person that says I'm an a-hole. Get that person.
Yeah.
That's the person I want on the air.
I love it.
And they really do hate me. It makes it authentic.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah,
they do.
It works that way. So
My favorite thing about being on the radio, especially with Bill, is if I haven't been on the radio in a while, his finger is like this on the delay button, just waiting.
Because you never know.
Because every once in a while, it's like, fuck.
Yeah, there it is.
We're pretty good with that.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta, you try to keep the job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just, it's funny because my son just started soccer this past weekend, so now I have to curb my words in front of parent. Like, I think I offended a parent the other day. I was walking, and Jose, who is the coach, is carrying the cooler around like this. And
Is Jose like Jose?
Jose,
He's
yeah,
the coach.
Yeah, he's
That's
the coach.
Funny.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, this is the coaching staff. Are we ready for this? So Jose is the head coach. His wife Chris is the assistant coach. I'm the team manager, and my wife's the team parent.
That's awesome.
Which is great. It's a family affair. Whatever.
What do you do when you start the game? Instead of the whistle blowing, do they yell "Showtime"? No.
They open E chord.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, but I mean, the weird part about it was. I'm in my mode no matter what. I'm just who I am, whatever, And this guy had a Buffalo Bills jersey on, and I'm like, he's probably, you stereotype somebody. He's Bills Mafia. Come on, probably drinks his face off on Sunday Bills. Yeah. Right. So Jose's carrying the cooler, and I'm like, oh, so that's where the booze is. Maybe he was a parent. I don't know. But he was like, oh, that's nice. And I'm like, was he saying, oh, that's real nice? Or was he saying, oh, that's nice? I couldn't.
Oh, no, he was saying that's a class act, sarcastically.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Right?
What a piece of garbage.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's not, yeah, no, that's the way I took it, too. So.
I would take it that way. I don't know how else, It's like, oh, that's nice. That's a nice statement. Is he complimenting you? I don't think so.
I don't think so, no. I mean, it would have been cool to, never mind.
Listen, all I can tell you is I think we did a decent job with our kids, and I would always sit behind home plate basically with a bar. I mean, there'd be three guys, and they'd bring their coolers, and we'd have vodka on the rocks sitting back there. Usually by the seventh inning, we were really going after the umpire.
Oh, my God, I would love to see that.
Good times.
Bill, what does retirement look like for you? Do you think that's something you'd get into? Are you going to retire? Because you're so active. I don't ever see you ever stopping doing what you do.
I don't see it either. I do like to do things.
Yeah.
And summertime I'm outside. I think I do less work. I get less done in the summer because I want to be outside. I feel like we only have so many good days, so I want to be out there.
And I noticed about your house, you don't have an outdoor office set up. I think that was on the back burner.
It's kind of like my laptop, I do, but there is no outside office. Yeah. It's the bar. There's a bar.
Right. I mean, I guess technically that can be the outside
help.
office.
I could get a bar stool and put a laptop up on it. I do have Wi-Fi out there. But I think that retirement will be difficult for me. I don't know how I will do that.
Yeah.
But there will come a point, like if money didn't mean anything, and you had all the money in the world, well, I guess I'd retire and just travel.
Yeah.
Do different stuff. Mm-hmm. So I got bored with that. I don't know. Yeah, I obviously in radio there's no retirement, right?
Right.
So what the freak am I doing?
Yeah.
Thank God my wife's a teacher.
Thank God.
Yeah, same here. I'm going to be singing until I'm 95 years old.
That's exactly
I got nothing.
Yeah.
Unless they start paying us more, you know what I mean? Then we can start sacking some away from retirement, You
still have that dream you're going to make it big. I mean, it's going to go big. You're going to barrels, boatloads of money.
Right.
Do you still have that dream?
Me?
Yeah.
Making it big for me, I always tell everybody, and I 100% believe this. I made it big because of what I'm able to do right now. You know what I mean? I'm 40 years old. I'm in a very successful local band. So what if we play covers? It doesn't fucking matter, right? But you know what I mean?
That argument always bothers me when people.
We talked about that a lot.
Say that, yeah.
Because I have original music, but I just choose to play covers. Why? Because that's what I use to support my family.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't make fun of you because you sell hot dogs. On
Even
the
like
street,
Gridley Page, when Gridley Page, they come out with a song, like you guys have come out with stuff. They come out with a song that's really a cool song. It's great to filter those things in, but the reality is around here, and it's not just around here, unless you're some sort of a legend, you're expected to play stuff they know.
Right.
It's kind of radio's trained.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, but if there was one other place or something on my bucket list of things I'd want to do musically, I would want to be on a tour, like making it big and being the center of attention. I don't ever see myself doing that. I never did see myself really. I always wanted to make it big as a band. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and we could do things together and
make a living off it.
Yeah, but to be on tour, and be on a tour bus with the guys and being shuttled back and forth, have a guitar tech, stuff like that, where it's like I could travel and see things while I'm making money and playing arenas for millions of people.
If you could just get to the point where you hated being on tour, that would be enough.
Yeah.
Right? You'd love it all the time.
Yeah, and I'd be like, all right,
the point where you don't want to do it anymore.
I'm done. Yeah. I'm done. I'm going to go back to being in a local rock band in Utica.
Yeah. Al Schneer once told me when he thought that they made it is when they were able to get health insurance.
Right.
For the band. He was like, now we made it. Wow, we got health insurance.
Yeah.
So
who thinks of that at a rock band?
Right, at a rock band.
Yeah.
Because once they got health insurance, they they can write their own ticket.
For sure.
I don't, but
they're a great example, though, of a band that's made it. But there'll be a lot of people, you talk about that band, they don't even know who that is.
No.
Right.
But they have such an amazing following.
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
Nationwide, probably worldwide, that they have made it.
Yep.
And kind of like a Joe Bonamassa way.
I love how much that they come back here.
Well, they live here.
I know, but what I'm saying is, no, you know what I'm saying, though? Like, they play out here, though. Like, they don't, like, you know what I mean? They come back here and they actually play when they're here. You know what I mean? They'll come out and sit in with somebody, or they'll come out and, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, they're not hiding away in some mansion up in a gated community in Clinton or something. You know what I mean? They're just, maybe they are in a mansion in a gated community in Clinton. But anyway.
They're not.
But they, they go out and they hang out and they do stuff, and it's not, I love that they're like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
they love the area. It's where they're from. It's their roots, and and they got a huge fan base here in the area. That's why they do so well.
Yeah.
When they come to the brewery, there's 3,000 people that show up.
Yeah.
And that is the answer today. You got to be able to draw and perform on the road. That's the key, apparently, to success for a record company today. If you use a record company,
you don't need them anymore.
Nowadays, you don't even need them.
Yeah.
It's always nice to have that thing.
Promotional.
I'm signed by Columbia Records. That's always nice,
So they can steal all your money.
Right.
In the jam band community, it's a lot of growth.
Oh my God,
they start from bottom level and just grow. And Mo's been together 30+ years now. It's like they're a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Well, imagine, we're going to be opening up a comedy club. I think we're delaying because of COVID again.
Who knows what the hell's going to happen?
Yeah, it's
going back into the comedy world?
I am.
Yeah.
I love it.
Frank Cristiano will be over at Tony's Pizzeria, Fat Cat's Comedy Club.
Coming back.
All right.
It's coming back.
Beautiful.
Coming back.
That makes me happy.
So it was supposed to open up next week. We're delaying again. It was supposed to open up a year ago. Anyway, one of the things that I would always do when we first started over there, because Utica's smaller, and we only have so much population, and you're asking $15 plus a 2-drink minimum, $15 to get in, 2-drink minimum. It can be an expensive night. And also, if you're going all the time, there's only so often. I mean, some people are diehard comedy. They want to see it every night. But sooner or later, you're going to be like, can we do something different tonight? So I would always say, I knew we were in trouble over there. We had a huge start, but then it dragged. And then it got smaller, and then we were losing money. So I'd say, all right, clap if it's your first time here. And clap if it's your second, third. Now all of a sudden it's like clap if your 15th time here. And the place would be like howling. Like we're in trouble. Because sooner or later, these people are going to get sick of coming, and they're not going to come anymore, and we're going to be left with no one. And it's exactly what happened. Whereas that band, people don't get sick of. How many times have you seen them?
Mo?
Yeah.
I can't. And then I started working with him, so it's hundreds.
Yeah.
Hundreds.
Since
my son
the
is a
early
big
90s.
Mo fan. He's out in Denver. He's probably seen him 20 times.
I think the jam band community in general, they support their bands so much that it's not like, I don't know, it's like no other community.
Well, it's an
in the
event,
world.
too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
the whole
event.
thing is an event.
And it's never the same show.
Never the same.
Yeah.
And that's the first band that I experienced that with. Obviously, was the Dave Matthews Band, and they're not really considered a jam band anymore.
But
I
they
guess.
were that second wave of jam bands.
But they were, and they started out that that small, the
wetland scene.
Yeah, the wetland scene. They came up through there. Yep. They started allowing people to tape at their shows like the Grateful Dead did. Yep. I mean, like all this stuff, and the grassroots community just gelled. I mean, there's still people that have grandkids right now that were part of that first, Dave Matthews, grassroots thing in the wetlands, and stuff like that.
And you, by the way, killed Dave Matthews stuff, so.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I just found somebody that and I'll show you a video after, this band called Monkeys on a String, and it's a Dave Matthews tribute band. This dude sounds just like him, and gave me chills.
Right.
Wow. Yeah.
Can we talk about the comedy club really quick? Then I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
So you're looking to open really soon. Do you got any heavy hitters you could talk about that are coming through?
Not yet.
No?
And you know how it normally works. We'll bring in a large act at some point, but we'd have to move that over to the Stanley so we can talk about that.
All right. Yeah. I know a guy.
But you don't make a lot of money with the big acts. You make your money bringing in solid comedy. The guys that are showing up on the Tonight Show that are really on. The problem in comedy is it's all about hype. So every person that says he or she is a comedian will tell you, I've been on Comedy Central. I've been okay. I'm on HBO tonight because I'm watching The Sopranos. Is that what? Because that's kind of what it means when they tell you. They're hype. They're overhyping.
Sure.
But then you get the guys or women who are really like they're Jimmy Fallon's getting up and going over and worshiping them because they're extremely, unbelievably funny.
Right.
And it's those guys that we get. And I've been doing it since the 90s, and I love it. We'll continue to bring people in. It's all about the experience.
Are you going to bring the saltine bit back?
The saltine cracker thing. I haven't done that in a long time. We'll have to do that.
I was up on stage for that one. It was six crackers in a minute.
Yeah.
You can't eat 6 saltine crackers.
Or we'll give you $100.
Yeah, it was like $100. Or sometimes you would give away tickets to something. And then I think you also did the milk challenge too, right? The gallon of milk or something like that. Yep.
The problem with those bits, I also did the bit where you get 2 contestants competing for concert tickets. And you'd bring in whatever. The Cranberries are playing at the Stanley. That was actually one of the shows.
Yeah.
So you got to drink cranberry juice. Every 15 minutes, you got to drink a glass full. And the last one to pee wins the ticket.
Oh, God.
Now, that was a great bit until in L.A., the woman died. End of all of those bits on the radio. They're all gone. So.
Oh, wow.
It's a real story. She died.
Wow.
And she drowned. They basically said she drowned because she wanted those tickets so badly, and she did whatever it took, and it killed her. So nobody does that stuff anymore. Now, the saltine cracker thing, so the key to doing it is you put it all in your mouth at the same time because it dries you out completely.
Yeah.
And then you create a ball and you swallow the ball of saltine crackers. You know what's going to happen.
You're going to choke.
Somebody's going to choke to death. Yeah. And that turns into paste.
Oh, for sure.
You're dead. And then so is your career.
Yep. I tried so hard, too. I did it once. I hopped up on stage, and I sat there shoving the salt. I'm like, I'm also trying. Like, how can anybody do that?
And we gave away a couple times.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that a couple people did it. Yeah. Yep.
Well, when the comedy club gets open again, just come back, please.
What we'll do?
Please, we'll do a disruption night or whatever. I got my Uncle Louie guys that come down and perform.
And we can even do where I bring a comedian in.
Yeah.
And that used to be the best part is the comedians come on the air.
For sure.
And we always had a show that was, we go 50 minutes or whatever, like this.
Yeah.
You didn't have to worry about breaking and.
Sure.
So, yeah, we'll do that.
I love it, Bill. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you taking the time and hanging. And Justin, you too. Where are you playing this week?
Friday with the trio at One Jenny. Wait a minute. That's right. I had not one gig until Friday.
Oh, beautiful.
So
you
happy.
deserve it.
Awesome.
Take some time, man. You need it.
First time since mid-March for me.
Wow.
So, so I'm just like, yeah. So Friday at One Jenny. Saturday it's showtime.
Can that tent stay up in the snow?
What?
I think it does.
Does it?
I think so. And they put heaters out there. I think they put heaters.
Yeah, they do. But I don't think that they have bands out there in the wintertime.
Oh,
they might. I can't remember if because we did do a couple gigs there where it was cold.
Yeah,
it was cold, but they had the heat going. But I don't know. They got some things in the works though. So
there's room for a permanent building. I would say.
Yes, there is. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So Saturday we are at the the Old Forge Firematics thing that the Old Forge Fire School weekend that they have. Yeah, that's Saturday.
Cool. That'll be awesome.
This is our third year doing it, and it's outstanding. And then
you're going to be in the great weather. It's going to be in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah,
Crazy.
And then Sunday, Howland Heights is my last time there this season, and Monday with Port Timot Fratello's. So that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Excellent. Cool. You're busy, man. Even though you're not busy, but you're busy.
I know.
That's good. Stay busy. Keep rocking. Go out there.
And I'll be on the air 6 to 9 Monday, 6 to 9 Tuesday. 6:15 if I get in on time till 9
till 8:55 because you're going to get out before the news.
I might want to get out a little early on Friday, so it varies slightly.
So Monday through Friday we can catch you on WIBX 950 WIBX. Our guest Bill Keeler and his show. You don't have a name for it. You just Keeler in the morning.
That's what it is.
That's just pretty much Keeler in the morning.
What else am I going to call it?
I don't know.
Keeler show.
Morning crew.
Obviously not the morning crew.
That a-hole that's on Fox. I hear that a lot.
And you can also catch him on Fox, Fox 33 in the Utica and Rome area. Bill, thanks again for hanging out with us, man. Shout out to EJA Moving Services, Joey's at 307, Utica Coffee, my attorney Dave Longaretta, Saranac Brewery, ballwash.com. Use promo code members only for 15% discount, and also Billy the Liquor Guy in his book Under Too Long. Tomorrow, Mala's hanging out. I'm excited to talk to Mal. We're going to talk relationship and boys and girls and OnlyFans and a whole bunch of stuff. So
yeah, that's going to be a good show.
Yeah, should be quite interesting. Thank you so much for listening. You can download and watch everything, all the things Disruption Network, and subscribe, like, comment, all that social media lingo. You know what the hell you're doing. Later.